Tuesday, April the 1st. This is Puck Time. We are live on WagerTalk TV. Guys, we've got 3 good games to break down, and the wild card race is absolutely heating up in the Eastern Conference. However, in the Western Conference, it's practically solidified. We got a handful of good games to look at, though. We'll talk about sides, totals, team totals, props, all that good stuff. You name it. And Carm, it's $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. $5, everybody gets one play. You know, you guys can pick baseball, you can pick NHL, you can pick NBA, you can pick NCAA, basketball, whatever it might be. $5, pick a handicapper of your choice, pick multiple handicappers of your choice. $5, everybody has one play up. But of course, there are some plays that are up for regular pricing as well. And I know Carmine has a big play going today. How are you, Carm?
Good, man. Happy to be here. It's funny that you forgot what day it was. This is what happens, Andrew, when it's your last day for the next 2 weeks, because you are on a little bit of a family vacation retreat, a much deserved one. It's been a long season in the NHL, so you're getting it out of the way. And then I am heading to my homeland. I'm off to Europe. But I'm still going to be doing hockey content, plenty of hockey content. Me and the Pope, me and some of the Italian soccer players. We're going to be doing it for a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Yesterday, a good day in the NHL, a 4% winner with the with the Philadelphia Flyers. Andrew, I don't get it. This team, other than the third period where they looked like they ran out of gas, this team since Tortorella got fired just looks good. They're going out there. They're playing offensive hockey. They're having a good time right now. Too little, too late, unfortunately, for that team. And as far as the Western Conference goes, I think really the only race that is left is Minnesota going to back themselves out of a playoff spot, because the Calgary Flames have a couple games in hand, I believe, on them, and they do play one more time this season. So they actually as far as Calgary goes, they control their own fate. I think at this point, although regulation wins might come in as a tiebreaker, it's interesting. So there's some really good games tonight. We're going to talk Florida and the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see if there's any rollover from that last game with that puck fired at Savard at the end of the game, which led to a $5,000 fine. We're going to talk Red Wings. Yes, Johnny, if you're watching from wherever you are, and happy birthday, belated birthday to you against the St. Louis Blues, who don't seem to want to lose a game anymore. You've got some props for us, and then we're going to finish it off with the Edmonton Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights. With the Golden Knights, the opportunity to clinch a playoff spot tonight. They're in, but a win tonight will make it official, and then hopefully a couple of free plays, Andrew. But with that said, it's $5 Tuesdays at WagerTalk Customer Appreciation. My play is going to be up shortly. I do have a 5% play, though, up for tonight, and a couple soccer plays as well, too, as domestic league action returns to the UK with some Premier League games in midweek. So I'm looking forward to a busy week ahead, Andrew. With that said, your Montreal Canadiens, I will refer to them as your Montreal Canadiens, minus 190 for the Florida Panthers, plus 160 for Montreal. The total sits here at 6, shaded to the under. Montreal has not lost to Florida yet this season, Andrew, and Florida has a big game tomorrow. 3 points back of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the top spot in the Atlantic Division. It looks like it's going to be Vanacek in goal tonight, and likely Bobrovsky in goal tomorrow against the Toronto Maple Leafs. How are you playing this one?
Well, there's going to be a lot of physicality, Carm, and a lot of times I do worry about penalties leading to goals. I also think it's an interesting decision that, both teams are going to go with the exact same goalie, which also, teams have the book on them. They have film. But similar to what I said a couple of days ago, or I guess yesterday in some of these games, where you've got a team that just played a team, they're familiar with their opponent, right? And we could say that there's going to be a lot of goals. There's maybe going to be only a couple, whatever it might be. But we saw yesterday, I think every single game went under, including both the games that were the second part of the home and home, or second part of the revenge game. And so even though this previous game landed on 6, so it didn't fly over, it might have been a push or what have you. I'm going to go with the under in this game. And I think that this is going to be a game that we see huge emphasis on defensive hockey. I would see if penalties don't get in the way and we don't see a ton of power play goals, we see the Montreal Canadiens not only get a boost at home offensively, but I find they get a boost at home defensively from their home crowd. If you look at some of the advanced metrics for the past few weeks in March, this Florida Panthers team was the second best team as far as expected goals against in the entire league. And so when I look at kind of how they performed and the chances they were giving up, the goals they were giving up, they were doing a hell of a job on protecting their own side of the ice. And I think that as much as we peg Florida to be a great team, the defending Stanley Cup champions, a team that has so much talent all over the ice, I feel like people forget that they can certainly be a good defensive team as well. So when I look at this game being 5.5, I think I look towards the under here. If you can find a 6, of course, they're out there. I would take the under. I have this one pegged as a defensive game. Unfortunately, I am a bit worried as a Canadiens fan that this team only gets up for the games against the good teams. I mean, how can this team look better against Florida than they do against the Islanders or against the Philadelphia Flyers? It seems like strength of schedule, Carm, we always talk about it down the stretch. I was listening to a Habs podcast last night, and these guys were making me laugh because they pretty much said, guys, how can we look at strength of schedule for the remaining games when this team picks and chooses when they want to be a better team? They played the best game of their road trip against Florida. And most people would probably argue that out of St. Louis, out of New York Islanders, out of Philadelphia Flyers, out of these teams, the Florida Panthers are probably the best team out of that. Last thing I'll say, Carm, is that this Montreal Canadiens team has struggled to play in the first game back at home after a road trip. Typically, it's been that second game after the road trip where they've had a lot of their success, but they have been a lot better at home lately. I'm staying away from the side. To be honest, I would sort of lean towards the Florida side. I'm going to be a homer and just watch as a fan, but I think the under is a good bet tonight.
You're such a homer. No, listen, there's nothing wrong with they've done nothing wrong against Florida thus far this season, beating them each and every time, and it's a big game for them. I'm just wondering if there's any ill will that's going to carry over from that game that they played just a few days ago in Florida. With I think the ruling in general, Andrew, is a dumb one. The game was not over. There was still a few seconds left on the clock. The guy shoots it down the ice. It obviously was shot in the direction of the net and the player, and they fine him $5,000. I get it if it's after the game is over or after the final buzzer, but come on, man. It's a little weak sauce for me to fine the guy $5,000 for that. But we'll see if there's any ill will because they got into it at the end of the game, and sometimes this carries over into the next game. And if it does carry over and we see some penalties in this game, we're going to see power plays. And if we see power plays, these two teams both have some good units. Patrick Laine finding his spot in that circle seems to be scoring goals, and Florida can score. So it's one of the reasons why I don't want to touch the total in this game, because I just don't know if Montreal just comes out and says, let's forget about that last game. We won it. We need points here. Let's try and get this win here. But it's a huge game for Florida, and they usually step up when it is a big game for them. And I think they know ahead of the game tomorrow in Toronto, this is a big one to pull within a point of Toronto, and then possibly leapfrog them with a win tomorrow, and I think they're signaling that by the fact that it's Vanacek in goal and they're saving Bobrovsky for tomorrow. I'm going to take Florida in regulation here, minus 115. I will say this one to you guys, and Andrew, you know this. I have had a difficult time all season long trying to fade your Montreal Canadiens. I seem to find the wrong spots on fading the Canadiens. I hope I have the right spot here. God only knows I will fess up to it tomorrow on the show if I don't have it correct. But give me Florida minus 115 in this one, and I'll send it to you for the next game. The St. Louis Blues and the Detroit Red Wings, minus 170 on the Blues, plus 145 on Detroit. Total sits here 5.5, 15 cents to the over.
Yeah, Carm. I mean, look, when you look at this playoff race, I talked about it with the Eastern Conference, with it being practically wrapped up with the Detroit Red Wings. It's just way too difficult now for them to make the postseason, for them to, pull it together. Obviously, with the way the Canadiens are playing with the Islanders and, of course, the New York Rangers, it's pretty much a 2 or 3 team race at this point. The reason why I bring that up is because wouldn't it be just so typical of a team like the New York Rangers to get going now? Like to start winning some games now and to, just make their fans kind of feel that that feeling of, hey, we're almost there, but we couldn't get there. People always talk about you don't want to get in front of a falling knife. Well, you also don't want to step in front of a really good streak either. But this seems to be one of those games where, I don't know, I woke up today and I said, I want to fade the St. Louis Blues, Carm. And when I look at this number right now, opening number minus 165 on the St. Louis Blues. And when I look across most sports books, guess which number I'm still seeing? 165, 170 maybe. The number has barely moved. You've got a flaming red hot team that cannot seem to lose a game, that that just refuses to drop a game. They said, forget about a playoff race, forget about trying to battle with these teams. We are simply not going to lose. We're going to play the Avalanche on Saturday night, and we're going to beat them. We're going to play the Predators, beat them. Canadiens 6-1. Vancouver Canucks, Blackhawks, no matter who they're playing, they took care of them. And yet they're 165 favorites today, pretty much barely any overnight money. And we have been seeing overnight money in some of these games tonight, but not them. So I look at this game here, Carm, and there's one thing that I look at is the expected goals against is that you've got Detroit actually doing all right. And as far as the expected goals for, so they're second in March. Second in March. It was Edmonton and then Detroit. So all of these losses, we can definitely say their execution has been absolutely abysmal. And I was talking about that with Brian the last time he was on the show, that to what degree do you stop looking at the analytics and you just say to yourself, this team can't finish? This team, the analytics would say, if you have a wide open net, Carm, me and you would score. But they're not scoring these wide open nets. But at the end of the day, you're going to give me this plus money on Detroit here. And we see this happen every season. We see this happen all the time where, based on what the odds makers are telling us right now, the Detroit Red Wings are pretty much out of the playoffs. They're not like 100% out, but it would be very hard for them to end up making the playoffs. Now they're going to win. They're plus 145. I think they are the team that cracks the streak for the St. Louis Blues. I'm taking the Red Wings as my dog of the day, Carm.
Drew, I can't blame you for it. I kind of feel the same way as if they were going to lose to a team, it might be Detroit. I will say this, though. I don't think Detroit, by any stretch of the imagination, is out of the playoff race. If the Montreal Canadiens lose in regulation and Detroit picks up a win tonight, Detroit's only a point back, and they have the same amount of games left. It's a tougher schedule, obviously, for Detroit. They've got, after the Blues game tonight, they're home to Carolina, home to Florida, in the big game against the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal. Then they're in Florida to play both the Panthers and the Lightning, home to the Dallas Stars, at New Jersey, and then at Toronto. That is a tough schedule for this team, and this schedule for them as a whole, um, their last 10 games or so has been pretty tough. You look at them, and these are the games that they have lost over the last 10 games or so. They played Ottawa twice. Ottawa went on that fantastic run, so they played a very good Ottawa team that's in a playoff spot right now. They played Carolina, a team in a playoff spot. Vegas Golden Knights, Washington, Colorado. Those are their losses. And the Blues are not a break in the schedule for them. It is another tough team for them, but they're somehow hanging around, and a little bit of rest. This is a huge game for them. It doesn't mean, again, the must win doesn't mean that you're going to win. That's just not the way sports works out, and especially sports betting. But I think this is a pretty much this could be their season over the next two or three games. They need to string a bunch of wins together starting in St. Louis. They're going to have to play their best game because the St. Louis Blues are going to show up. This is a team that's won 9 straight games, playing phenomenal hockey, limiting teams' chances. Their goaltending is playing very good with Binnington and Hoffer whenever he's in there to give him a break. This is a tough one for them. I could lean a little bit to the over in this one because I think Detroit is not going to win a low-scoring battle with the St. Louis Blues. If they're going to win one, it's going to be one of those 4-3 type games. So I'd probably lean a little bit to the over. And while it won't make my card, I will be cheering for Detroit. I wouldn't say they're a big live dog. I think they're a small live dog. They've got a shot tonight in this one, Andrew. Any thoughts before we hit your prop segment?
No, I agree. Like I said, I'm with you on that. And I think that you talk about the scheduling, it would be very hard, Carm, for them to crack it. But what better way to start a kind of a run for them would be to win as underdogs like this, right? You need to win as underdogs in spots like this. There's no more of them winning only when they're a pick 'em price, right? This is going to be, you want to have a shot. You want to kind of make the games interesting down the stretch. You got to win as big size dogs, like plus 145. So I wouldn't talk anybody out of this one at all, and I think this one's going to be super tight. Carm,
It's
before
funny
we go
because
to
one of the guys in our
go
live
ahead.
chat mentioned, you know what I mean, and it makes sense to me. Honestly, it makes sense. It's the game you least expect the team to lose is the ones that they lose. And someone mentioned they play the Pittsburgh Penguins, I think on Thursday. We've seen it all year long. The NHL can be and will be unpredictable. We see it with the Toronto Maple Leafs sometimes, and I mentioned them not because I'm poking fun of the manager, but we mentioned it seems like year in and year out they play to the level of the team that they're playing. You know what I mean? Like they went to San Jose and they drop a game in a shootout there to San Jose, a game in which they came back, scored a couple late ones to force OT, and then lose. Those are games in which good teams are supposed to be picking up points. You look at Colorado. You know, Chicago comes to town and beats them earlier this season as a big dog. So we're going to see it to close out the final 2 weeks of the season. We're going to see some of these ones where people think it's just automatic. Oh, minus 220, minus 240. Yeah, they're going to win. Let me just add that as the final leg of this 18-leg parlay that I have, and that's the one that goes down in flames. So the NHL, the unpredictability of it sometimes, Andrew, and that's why we love it. It is on any given day. It's like on any given Sunday, that movie. Anything can happen. With that said, give us some props that are sure to win here.
Yeah, it's like that. You got a lock. This is a lock. That's what this is. These are going to be locks for everybody. We don't want to throw around the L word, that's for sure. But yeah, a couple to look at, Carm. The first one is going to be one that, of course, I'm going to have my eye on this game, and I hope this guy doesn't score. But I do think he's going to go over his shots on goal. I got an over 2.5 shots on goal prop for you. For a guy that, good luck pronouncing this or spelling this guy's name, but Samoskevich. Samoskevich from the Florida Panthers over 2.5 shots on goal is plus 140. The Montreal Canadiens are 31st in the league in shots on goal versus right wingers. For some reason, they give up shots on goal against right wingers. And the best part about the fact that the Montreal Canadiens and Florida Panthers are playing second game in a row, we get to look at some of these player props that might not have hit the previous game, but probably deserved a better fate. This guy had 7 shot attempts, Carm, on Sunday, and it only resulted in 1 shot on goal. He had 7 shot attempts. 6 either missed the net or they got blocked. So 7 shot attempts makes me believe this number, 31st against right wingers, is pretty accurate for the Canadiens. I think Samoskevich goes over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 140 is a pretty darn good number to look at as well. The next one I want to look at, of course, we're going to keep going with these Columbus Blue Jacket props because, man, they just keep putting goals on the board. We're going to go with Sean Monahan to record an assist at even money plus 100 versus Nashville. Second half of back-to-back for Nashville. They just don't look very good right now. They rank 28th in the league in assists against top-line centermen. And right now, Sean Monahan's in, I believe, his 4th game back with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he's played a huge part of that team. When I look at some shots on goal props potentially in that game, I will look towards Steven Stamkos because, man, this team needs some shooters. They need some guys to step up. I mentioned how Stamkos and the Predators, their offense has not been there, but I think the shots on goal will be there as Columbus has given up chances to everybody. They're winning games 7-6. If you win a game 7-6, your offense might be good, but your defense is awful. So hopefully Stamkos over 2.5 shots on goal can get us there, and that is plus 140. And the last one that I wanted to mention, this guy, Dylan Cousins, Carm, he was unbelievable in his first few games as an Ottawa Senators player. Point against Montreal, point against Colorado, New Jersey, Buffalo in the first meeting back against them. And then he didn't get one against Detroit or Pittsburgh. But I do think tonight, playing Buffalo once again, his former team, he'll find the stat sheet one more time. This guy is minus 105 to find the stat sheet against his former team. I feel like that's a really good one to look at. Carmen, before I throw it back to you, we decided not to look at this game today. Obviously, it's pretty big odds, and they the pretty good game to discuss just based on all situations. But I had to throw out this video, and if we can bring the video on the screen, I couldn't believe that. This goes to show Alexander Ovechkin is always having fun. This guy is 5 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record, and Ovechkin is at a bar with the Boston College hockey players, drinking beers, taking them out for drinks, like blasting hip hop music. Ryan Leonard has signed the entry-level contract with the Capitals, and he'll play tonight for Washington, which will be a huge boost for them. But this video going around social media right now, you got this older guy with like gray hair that's, let's be honest, if you walked into a bar and you weren't a hockey fan, you probably wouldn't really think that guy is one of the best hockey players to play the game just by looking at him. And he's dancing along, singing to rap music, and he's buying all these 21-year-olds drinks at a college bar. It's that time of year, man. The college players that are knocked out of the frozen frenzy, they're signing their entry-level contracts. Alexander Ovechkin, man, he's an absolute character. He loves to have fun. We remember back when he won the Stanley Cup, Carm, he partied for 5 months straight. I thought that was a funny video worth sharing.
Listen, you win a cup, you can celebrate for 12 months straight if you want, man. It's deserved. It's one of the toughest trophies to win. Just to talk to any of the guys in the NHL who have yet to win it, and they'll tell you that. But good on him. He's 4 or 5 goals short of Wayne Gretzky's mark. I really hope he gets it done before the season is over and hits that one. Anytime you have a chance to watch history being made and a streak like the one that Gretzky has being broken, you want to see it. So it's fantastic as far as that goes. Andrew, I had a client sent me a message yesterday, and it just talked about like the transfer portal now that the NCAA is done. The Frozen Four is done, and you're just seeing so many players moving. Some of them going to the CHL because you got the options of playing for the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec Hockey League, and a lot of players will make that transition to those leagues because a lot of the future stars of the NHL will come out of the WHA. With that said, we're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights, and then I'm going to talk about something when I'm doing my free play. But it is so interesting, the last game of the night tonight that we're not going to discuss, which is San Jose and Anaheim and the Tankathon. I'm loving that site each and every day, checking to see how the odds are changing as far as teams tanking. I will say this, Andrew. Um, this year's number one pick in the draft, I think that everyone wants, and right now, kind of belongs to San Jose if they end up with they have the best percentage to win the draft. The number one pick, uh, Matthew Schaefer, the defenseman for Erie in the OHL. This guy can move the puck. It is unbelievable. It is very hard to get an NHL defenseman or a defenseman, a rookie who can move the puck and be part of the play. You got someone similar to that in Montreal, Lane Hudson, who's putting up some fantastic numbers and is likely going to win the Calder as the rookie of the year. But with that said, it's the Tankathon. I'm going to give you a play on the Tankathon later on, Andrew. But let's talk Vegas Golden Knights and Edmonton Oilers. And everyone already knows what my play is here. So let me just get it out of the way. The Vegas Golden Knights, their last 16 wins at home on home ice, their last 16 wins, they have covered the puck line. They are 16-0 to the puck line at home. They're -1.5 plus 155 tonight to cover the puck line tonight against Edmonton Oilers team that is missing Connor McDavid. Draisaitl's back. It looks like it's going to be Picard in net because Skinner was injured and doesn't look like he's going to be there tonight for them. So I'm going to take Vegas -1.5 plus 155. They clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight. Let's go Knights by 2 or more. Andrew?
I love it, Carm. I mean, look, you have profited so much on this. You are playing with house money, and you're going to keep cashing those tickets with this Vegas Golden Knights team playing at T-Mobile Arena. The way that they play at home, it's phenomenal, and it's very, very consistent. And when you're looking at betting trends, that's all you want is consistency and then probably some really good prices as well while you're at it. So, I will say I had on Saturday night, Carm, I took a shot with the Oilers team total over 3.5 goals. They ended up finishing with 3, so I lost the play. But when they were down 2-1, I ended up taking the Oilers plus 110 to win the game. Draisaitl had to absolutely piggyback the team and just put the team on his back overall to score the game tying goal, to score the game winner in overtime. And I'll tell you, I feel like, no joke, like since I've been a part of WagerTalk, we've all been talking about pretty much the same thing with this Oilers team. And they've been to a cup final, of course, last year, but we ask ourselves, do they have a depth issue? And I'm not going to lie, if I didn't tell you the jerseys and the team that this team played on, or these guys played on, Max Jones, Adam Henry, Kasperi Kapanen, Connor Brown, Matthias Janmark, and Corey Perry. That's the bottom 6 for the Edmonton Oilers. That's not good. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. That's not good. And yeah, sure, they're a little bit physical. These guys can play like this, play like that. I don't like their bottom 6. It doesn't convince me anything. They don't create offense. They're not dangerous. And here's the thing is that their bottom 6 isn't exactly young. So it's not like their bottom 6 is absolutely, scoured with speed by any means. Karma, I'm going to rock with the under 6.5 here, -120. I think we see kind of a more of a snooze fest here. Obviously they won't be happy about the fact that they got shut down against the Flames and had to come back and they won that 1-3-2 in OT. But Talk about Vegas playing well at home and covering the puck lines for you. Well, one reason they're covering the puck lines is because of their defense as well. They're not covering puck lines in, 5-3, 6-4 wins. They're covering puck lines in low scoring victories. So with that, I'm going to take the under 6.5 in this one.
All right. I don't blame you. I think at this point, Andrew, I think if you're the Edmonton Oilers or you're a fan of the Edmonton Oilers, you know they're going to make the playoffs. Just get into the playoffs healthy. Get McDavid back. McDavid probably doesn't come back until there's 2 or 3 games, maybe 4 games left in the season. There's no reason to rush him back. I think at this point, you want a healthy team. Same thing goes with Skinner as well too. If he's not completely healthy and ready to go after that bit of a collision last time out, then you don't put him in net. Play him the last 2 or 3 games, get him some ice time if he's your goalie for the playoffs. So we'll see as how the Edmonton Oilers go. So I wanted to talk about quickly, Andrew, the San Jose, the Tankathon. So looking real quickly at Tankathon.com for the NHL, San Jose right now is in position to get the number 1 pick in the draft, 18.5% to finish, I think, top 3. And then the odds for the number 1 pick overall are 25.5%. They're 2 points up on the Chicago Blackhawks. If there was ever a team that looks like they don't want to win another game this season, it is the San Jose Sharks. They lose 6-1 to the Rangers. They lose 8-1 to the LA Kings. And the Kings blitzed them with 4 or 5 goals, I think, at one point. And then you look at the San Jose Sharks schedule to end the season, Andrew. So let's have a quick look at this one, and then I'll get into a play. They play Anaheim tonight. Then they play the Edmonton Oilers, the Seattle Kraken, the Calgary Flames, the Minnesota Wild, the Edmonton Oilers again, the Calgary Flames again, the Vancouver Canucks, and then the Edmonton Oilers one last time. With the exception of the Seattle Kraken and the Anaheim Ducks tonight, every other team is vying for a playoff spot or in a playoff spot right now. If you took a rolling parlay, and I don't recommend this, but I'm just throwing it out there, on the San Jose Sharks to lose every game on the money line the rest of the year, assuming every team they play is even at odds of minus 300, with the exception of tonight, 15-1 on your money that the Sharks do not win another game this season. That's your payoff, Andrew. Is it too much of a risk? Do you need more money than 15-1 on the Sharks not winning another game this season?
They're gonna win probably a game with I bet you they'll win one with like 2 or 3 games left in the year. That's probably what will happen. But I agree with what you said though about like rolling it over, because I saw somebody talking about yesterday. It was with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA. Will they win 70 games? Or will they win 72 games or whatever? And the odds were horrible. It would be the worst investment ever, because I understand they're going to be huge favorites in a lot of the games. It was like 4-1 odds for this team to practically not lose a game the rest of the season. And some guy said, yeah, you could probably just roll over the money line, even in some of the bigger games, because all it takes is a few games against the Lakers or some good teams where it's closer to a pick and you're better off. So, Carm, I think that's decent value, but they're probably going to squeak one in and be upset maybe the final few games of the year. Those are fun bets, though, because you're just cheering against them every single time.
Yeah, it's between them and the Chicago Blackhawks. I just don't see these teams. I get it. It is hard to tank. You can't imagine a team purposely trying to tank because when you go on the ice and if you're not putting a full effort in, you leave yourself open to getting injured. But when I talk about stuff like possibly tanking, guys not blocking shots, guys not completing plays, there's so much that goes into it, and the Sharks don't need much help. They've been terrible all season long. But it is unbelievable. I'm going to chart these next few games and see which one of my hockey friendly books allow rolling parlays. You used to be able to do it. You can't anymore. Teams lose in bunches. Was it not last year? And maybe you guys in the chat can let me know. Not in the NHL, in the NBA. Didn't the Detroit Pistons lose like the first 20 games or something of the NBA season? Or was it last year? So it's not a huge stretch to think that, okay, well, the next 8 games, Sharks are pretty much going to lose each and every one of them. They got some tough opponents in there. And as long as those games are meaningful to those teams late in the season, there's no gimmies for the San Jose Sharks. So we'll see. With that said, Andrew, my $5 play will be up shortly at WagerTalk. 2 plays up in Premier League soccer this afternoon, and then a 5% play up in the NHL. It's going to be hopefully a very big day for us, and a lot of games I really like this week. So I'm going to go back as my free play to this Ducks game, and I'm going to take the Ducks in regulation, -110. I don't think San Jose even wants to get this one to overtime and possibly pick up a point. Give me the Ducks to get the job done. They've won 3 of their last 5 at home. And they're still playing hockey. They're still playing competitive hockey. So -110 on the Ducks in regulation is my show free play. You're on vacation, my friend. Give us a winner on your way out the door and let us know what you have up at WagerTalk.
Carm, we're either going out with a bang or I'm going out with a loss, and I'll see you guys in a week and a half. It's one or the other. We're going to go out on a good note or a bad one, but I like this play quite a bit. We got the LA Kings -120. They are coming off a game where they lost at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs. This team has been great at home all season long, especially in bounce back mode. Winnipeg has been cruising along. They've been playing some pretty good hockey. I see this to be as a spot where the LA Kings protect their home ice. They bounce back in a good way, and they put up a really strong defensive performance. I like this number at -120. We'll take that against the Winnipeg Jets. Carm, 195 for the full remainder of the NHL season plus playoffs. That's good for myself, good for you over at wagertalk.com. Guys, forget about 3 days, forget about one play, forget about 7 days. Join myself, join Carmine. We're going to give out all kinds of free plays on PuckTime every day, but all of our plays are going to be in that package, 195. As again, I mentioned, I'm going on vacation. I'm still going to be doing my research at night, just not going to be doing as many shows. I might be giving out plays at different times than I usually do. So if you guys want to get my package, you're going to get every play I release the second I release it right to your email. And that's the way to go about it. So hopefully you guys will join us at wagertalk.com. $5 play for me up in the MLB. It's a team total play. And we also got some NHL going for this evening. So looking forward to a great day, guys. Wishing you all the best of luck. No April Fool's jokes from us. I'm not creative enough for that. Don't want to mess with you guys too much. Wishing you guys all a great day. And I'll see you guys in about a week and a half here on Wager Talk TV.